Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. I do what I do for you. Oh, I got something good for you today. Let's get this party started. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I'm giving you life lessons. You tuning in and receiving them. I appreciate you. Let's do what we do. Right thinkers mission. Yeah, and that's what I'm on. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. With the lessons that I set forth to give you on a daily basis, it's geared to do just that. Tune in, excuse me, practice them, and you'll know thyself also. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you don't have the answer for yourself, it's okay. Tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and thinks and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows not that they know, okay, spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know, oh, is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers know thyself. And to my yacht, be true. I'm gonna pick up on the lesson I was just giving you about humility. So the title of this one is "What is Spiritual Growth?" I had the title, then I said, okay, humility over ego is spiritual growth, and that's your troubles of life no longer seem to be insurmountable. Long title, so I just break it down. Humility over ego is spiritual growth. How about that? I'll go with that one. Let's get the lesson going. But it's all about what? That ego, that pesky ego. Y'all call him the devil, okay, whatever. But understand, he needs to be dealt with. Let's go. The ego, here we go, with its cravings and desires, okay, is the primary obstacle to spiritual realization. Your biggest bugaboo for those who can't become spiritual is your ego. Your biggest problem about you is your ego. Let's talk about it. Hope you can get the lesson. The practice of what? Humility is the best and most secure way to what? Prevent the development of ego sense. If the ego have to give of itself, it don't like that. It just likes to take. So you debunk the ego with what? Doing selfish service, living righteous, doing the right thing. That's how you debunk the ego sense. Hold on, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. That ego thing. The more you do good, the less the ego will have say so. That's important. Why? You got to be able to counteract the ego with what? Goodness, virtue, righteous actions. Thoughts will change as you go along. The devil don't tempt me no more. He don't come. He still do what he do, but I got no use. He got no use for me. Why? I ain't giving into his nonsense. So when you get better, and remember, the devil for y'all is the ego. I keep telling you about him, so I keep using your understanding to make a point. So let's go. By consistently, watch this, by consistently putting down your ego sense whenever it arises, at the whack-a-mole, he poke it, bust him upside the head, get out, get back. I don't need you. And by performing what? How you do that? By performing its selfless acts of kindness and service to who? Others. And the mind what? Becomes filled with positive thoughts, good thoughts, and feelings of the what? Universe rather than an egoistic nature. You want to do good, you want to help other people. That's godly. Doing you and just having your own pleasure, that's human. We are spiritual, divine beings having a human experience. And the most of us are ignorant to who we really are, hence know thyself. Why? If you think we just human beings, you're going to act and function as a human being. If you know you are a divine and spiritual being, you should act like a divine and spiritual being. Or right thinkers. How about that? But these universal thoughts, good thoughts, lead to the experience of what? Universal or what? You get ready? My phrase, God consciousness. You are rather than the individual consciousness. If you think in me, I, that's the ego self, which is true. And that's what it is. But you have another level that you got to raise to realize the am that comes with that. Amen. The hidden one. That's who the spirit that's in you. You got to realize and become the concept, conceptually understand that, and you'll see a little difference in everything you do. If you want monetary rewards, do human stuff. If you want spiritual growth, do good stuff. Simple. Moving on. Let me get to the next level. And now the story I gave you last lesson about how Jesus in John 13, it's not unique. I didn't say that. It said that. Why? Because there is a similar story in ancient Hindu epic in the Mahabharata where Krishna, which is the Jesus of their time, the Lord and Master, sound familiar? Purposely takes on everyday duties such as a stable duties, kitchen cleanup, as well as washing the feet of the followers. He's emphasizing humility. He's showing you what you call me, what you think I am. Oh, that's fine, but I'm just a regular person just like you. He was the prototype, excuse me, I'm getting excited. I'm like a preacher up here now. But he was the prototype of what you should be if you're Christian. That's all. He did it for the Indians. India, Haru did it for the Egyptians. We all got one. It's 16 saviors. So don't think Jesus is the end all be all. If that's what you follow, that's fine. But exercise what he was trying to teach. Don't act the fool. Excuse me. A lot of y'all don't have a clue about his teachings and his philosophy. You just know he died for us, our sins. Ignorance. 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 Meaning not knowing. That's all. Moving on. So therefore, watch this. The practice of humility, offering up a selfless and selflessness service, will extend to the most ancient times, and it carries with it a most illustrious history. Why? Humility reduces the pressure and the urgency of your egoistic cravings of the mind, which ego feelings foster. The I, the me, that's putting God outside. Is only reliant on itself. Ooh. When you know thyself, you know God. If all you know is thyself, you don't know God. You're ignorant of your higher self. Simple as that. But if you believe, then it's hard to convince you of your belief because you hell bent on that. So, as I say, those kind of people, avoid them. Why? You ain't gonna change them. Moving on. But when the pressure, watch this, of egoism is what is lifted from the mind. That pressure or that idea of me, when it's alleviated, what happens? Now the light of wisdom is able to what? Shine and illumine what? Your mind to dispel its illusory desires and cravings of the flesh. Immortality. Immortality is knowing we are spiritual. Mortality is knowing I'm only human. That's the fallback excuse. Anybody who do something wrong and they claim to be spiritual or religious. Well, I'm only human. So that means you're prone for error. But it's still your choice. It might make you do what you did. You would control. Understand that. That's why having knowledge of self, hold yourself accountable to do it. Do the right thing. I can't wild out. What? I'm the right thinking man. I can't do dumb stuff. Why? I'm the right thinking man. That's why I hold myself accountable to respectfully do what it is I do. Sorry about that. But I'm doing it for you. Let's go. But when the pressure, okay, but now when you have these desires and cravings, when they are no longer necessary to be dealt with, why? Because now your mental thoughts in which was clouded before, now you got the true self to have. You have the true self and have given way to what? Your self-discovery. There you go. Of who? Your inner fulfillment, wherein all desires are truly satisfied. To be happy with oneself, to be blissed out with knowledge and understanding and becoming one with God, that's the goal. That's the highest thing a human can achieve. Not a bunch of money, a bunch of fortune and fame. None of that means nothing to God. Just in case. Well, the more money I got, the more. No. That to make you godly. Okay. Knowledge of God, actions showing Him in good deeds. That's godly. So let's talk about, well, how do you know when you're growing spiritually? Perfect question. And this is what I need you to understand. If you're following a philosophy, a religion, whatever you is, and it's not prospering you, you're not prospering with it, you need to change. Why? Because obviously it don't work. But what happens, how you know you're growing spiritually? When the troubles of life no longer feel insurmountable. Back in them days, every time something went wrong, man, it's the end of the world. Okay, no faith. Okay, and when you become what? Slower to anger. Okay, that's the ego. When you become to discover what? Your higher vision, that's the third eye opening. That's the goal for right thinkers, to know thyself, mean open the third eye. And you have higher vision of what? Yourself. The third eye tells you about you. When you begin to discover what? Inner peace and contentment. Excuse me. When you no longer depend on what? Life events and the external world for your happiness. If you think something new or something different make you happy, how about you changing your attitude, change your lifestyle? That'd be a change. That'd be a plus. But if you think you're gonna buy something, acquire something that's gonna make you happy, content, and peaceful, why? These are some indications. If you do this, these are some indications that what? That now you are what? Moving toward self-discovery. You raise your conscious level. You ain't in love with the material world. You ain't in love with stuff of the flesh. This is the goal in which what? The art and the practice of right thinking philosophy in life is directed to do for you. Give you the information, give you the knowledge, and you all you gotta do is use it, implement it. This is the blueprint. It's already been laid out. Now, when you are living in the world, you are what? Continually being what? Challenged. It's called life. We didn't come here to do nothing other than to know ourselves. But we seem to find a whole bunch of other stuff we call distractions to have fun here while we're here. So you're gonna stay here. You ain't going nowhere. If your goal is to know thyself, when this ceases, you ain't coming back. That's the name of the game. We're here to do what we need to do to go home, which is know thyself. That's my concept. That's my theory. That's what I'm saying. I'm sticking to it. Well, anybody came out to tell you if it worked, okay, don't have no problem with that. But everyone, watch this, is being constantly in the flesh. You're constantly tested. However, those who are what? Practicing right thinking philosophy, what? Will develop a special spiritual sensitivity and will be able to what? Have a greater sense of spiritual awareness of the process. Life. You get spiritually enlightened by practicing the lessons that you learn from a spiritual preceptor. See where we're going with this? I'm here every day, so there's no excuse for right thinkers. So they are able to what? You're able to see the challenging situations of human life as what? Opportunities to further what? Purify your heart. Why? The purpose of purifying the heart is getting ready for Judgment Day. That's why. That's why. So all the nonsense just weighs heavy on what? Your heart. And at Judgment Day, all that's going to come back to bite you in the tuchus. This is what karma is all about. Okay? All the stuff you thought you got away with, karma got it. Don't worry about it. Okay? But that's the concept. And watch this. Now, most of those who face life without training, without knowledge of the physical or the yoga philosophy, okay, or right thinkers, you see life as a what? An uncertain realm of arbitrary events and with no deeper meaning. Well, we here, when we die, that's it. Okay, for you, yeah. Their sole purpose, again, is to seek what? Happiness, acquiring pleasant circumstances and material riches, and this attitude just intensifies what? Your struggle, as well as bring on more pain and disappointment when you don't get what you striving for or want out of life by going about the wrong way. So you feel like a failure. That's self-inflicted again. Again, you look at yourself as a failure and nobody fault but yours. Okay? But an ordinary person, watch this, who not initiated into right thinking philosophy or into the yoga concept, whatever it is, would see what? An adverse condition in life, such as a loss of a material object, as a motive to what? For grieving. Oh, it's in the world. Or to be angry. Oh, they get mad. Or cursing. Most of us do a lot of that, etc. But you see, the loss of something material freaks them out. Especially the loss of a loved one. They really lose it. Okay? That means you are too emotionally attached. Back up, understanding, and live it for what it is. Simple as that. Death is death. It's imminent for all human beings. Get over it. So, an initiate, or AKA right thinker, would see, watch this, this is how we view it. As life's adverse situations, we see it as an opportunity to what? Control what? My emotions, and to learn how to develop what? Better insight into the fact that I'm a human being and life is illusory in the physical world, but because at any moment, anything what can be taken away, even your life. Okay, I got plans. If some weird situation, adverse situation come out and your life is taken out, you snuffed out, that's it. Party's over. Don't make a difference. So understand that too. Philosophically, you have to be able to understand reality. Also, if you're initiant, right, you would realize that what appears to be a prosperous condition or a harmonious condition between people or human relationships can what? Can change at any moment also, depending on the situation of enmity and disappointment. Loved ones, we love each other 1 minute, all of a sudden we talking divorce and leaving. What happened? What happened? It go from 0 to 60. It go from good to bad in an instant. That's ignorance. That's not smart. That's all. And therefore, what? There is no point in grieving over something that is lost or allowing oneself to become agitated over what? The praises or the curses from others, letting other people dictate how you feel about yourself. Rather, it is more important. Listen, it's more important to discover what is real, sorry, cannot be lost and not subject to what? Variations based on feelings or emotions from self within. You dictate, you control what go on, and it all starts from within. The test of a right thinker, again, aspirant, relate to what? The following questions. Watch this. Now, let's ask the question. If you're a right thinker, this is for you. Have you controlled your anger today? Your fears? Your lusts? Okay, your emotions, your desires? These are things that you have to basically control when? Daily. And watch this. Your it is on the basis of such evaluation that what you are what judging your spiritual progress by doing just that, checking yourself. Okay, introspective, reflected on what yourself, what you did. Hold yourself accountable to do the right thing, and you ain't gonna worry about what somebody else is doing or not doing. When you face life with right thinking teachers, my yoga philosophy, then you are as what? Equipped. I hear my pastor telling Christians how they get, I got you, watch this. But with right thinking philosophy, you also equipped with what? You got a suit of armor. Here you go. Which what? Which insults, annoyances, and egoistic values cannot penetrate. Again, just the lesson I tell you, sticks and stones, yeah, break my bone. But saying things, words don't do nothing to me. You can't hurt me with words unless I care. Unless you put yourself in that position to get your ego bruised. My ego ain't at stake here. So I don't worry about what you're saying. Think and feel about me. Moving on. We get better at that right thing because you'll stop letting people, try to want the approval of other people for you being who you think you are. Know who you are. You ain't got to worry about their approval. You begin to what? Discover your inner peace, which what? Which surpasses what? Both outer pleasures and pains, as well as what? Internal desires of what? Your ego. Again, the ego have to go along for the ride if you're doing the right thing, because he ain't in control. So he had no say so. Put him in the servant position. Watch this. Now, this occurs in what? In degrees. First, second, third, 33. Sounds familiar. Masonic order. But when you what? When you are sincere and repeatedly you practice the teachings, that means daily, and even though you may fail, and that's going to happen what? Many times. That's okay. If you get knocked down 10 times, you should get up 11. Moving on. So before succeeding, you will have to take a few failures in order to succeed. That's part of the game. It's part of the process, and it is a process. Let me get to the next part right quick. I see the clock running. But now it must be clearly understood that the primary qualification of a right thinker is belief in what? The teaching. If you don't believe I'm practicing or professing, this is a waste of your time. But you have to believe in the teachings, and if at least believe that you are a soul which is wandering what? In ignorance until you what? Get knowledge of self, of your true nature through what? Many incarnations. Stop reincarnating. Get knowledge of self while you're here and stop that process. That's my goal, to get right thinkers to do just that. So at least intellectually. That means this. That means this. So then there is hope. What? For you being able to what? Practice right thinking philosophy successfully. If you're dealing with me from a, well, whatever, I ain't yet, it ain't gonna work for you. But if you believe, watch this. However, those who are strongly of the opinion that the world is the only reality, again, that this is it, that the body is their self, and when the body dies, they cease to exist. That's true. But watch this. They are not fit to receive my teachings of right thinking philosophy. Why? If you're that astronaut, I can't help you. That's why I read the mission statement. You, that third person, you may believe you know or think you know, but you don't. I can't help them. I avoid them. That's why. They're not going to change. Only people who are want or willing. You can't want more for a person than they want for themselves. I can't help you help yourself if you ain't putting forth the effort. God ain't that good. He ain't gonna help you until you what? Make some effort toward him. You reap what you sow. That means you got to give before you receive. And when you give a selfless service, you're going to receive in abundance. Trust me on that one. And again, I'm not a preacher. It ain't a religious thing. It's spiritual. Moving on. Where we at? So now, such people, watch this, are compared to what? Buffaloes or hippopotamus. Why? Because their minds are so dull by what? Their sense and ignorant perception and ignorance that the only idea they have of existence is that their senses perceive, meaning the I, the me, the ego self. That's all they know. And watch this. You would try, watch this, you would not try to what? Teach music to a buffalo, would you? Dealing with them is the same concept, okay? In the same way, watch this, even the greatest teachings, the best right thinking philosophy would be wasted on such people. Again, avoid them. Therefore, the scripture clearly state that what? These unqualified people, and it's a bunch of them, should not be taught any advanced forms or spiritual philosophy. In masonry, you can't get another degree without showing what? Suitable proficiency in what? The preceding degree. So that means you had to study, you had to learn, you had to show what you learned. Rather, what's this? Rather, they should be encouraged to develop what? Moral character. That's what the Masons give you. That's what the Nation of Islam give you. I respect them for that. They get you to be morally correct. That's what you're supposed to, but y'all ain't all doing it. It represents that. I know that. But a lot of y'all ain't doing that. Moving on. And virtue and ritualistic practices of religion. Again, that's the purpose of religion. I know religion to link you back to yourself, your essence, which is God. Y'all don't know that. I ain't going back to say, no, linking you back spiritually, see, symbolically, giving you emphasis, understanding how to be what? Your best self, which is what? The godly, good things, righteous things. But ignorant people won't get it. Moving on. Everybody won't. Where we at? What's this? Now, they should be what? Taught the mythological stories, and everybody knows the stories of religion. Again, that's just the first phase. That's elementary, dear Watson, as Sherlock Holmes would tell you. But that's not the end all be all. After the first phase is just the stories, which they are ready to what? Be instructed, and then a higher metaphysical teachings. The more you learn, the more you can get. And those who at what? This level will benefit from what? The recitation or repetition of what? The words of power, heka. That means mantra, prayer, okay, meditative states. And this practice will have the effect of what? You ready? Purifying the mind. The thought process purifies the mind. The action, the selfless service, purifies the heart. It's a combination you have to understand. And there is, I'm almost done. There is an important aspect, here you go, of spiritual aspiration. As you tread the path of spirituality, becoming your best self, knowing thyself, you must engage in the service to who? Your spiritual perceptive conceptually, meaning doing what you need to do so that he would be pleased in your actions. God said, that's my son, and him I'm well pleased. Why? Because he living right. Simple. As a teacher, you my student, I'm well pleased. Why? Because you're learning right and doing right. That's the concept. And this means what? That you should assist in any endeavors of your spiritual perceptive. Join, be part of whatever he's doing. Why? Help him out. Okay. And watch this. Dissemination of what? The teachings, meaning you pass it along. The promotion of right thinking philosophy and its principles in all areas of life. I give life lessons. That's what it's all about. And then you got the promotion of peace, aka nonviolence against human beings, animals, or nature, and other duties which outlined in the scriptures. This service has the effect of what? You ready? Of purifying your heart. The service you do purifies the heart. I just told you that. And by expanding your sphere of activity to encompass what? The entire world and not just your own individual ego. I could take all my knowledge and do nothing with it. That's crazy to me. Why? Why'd you get it? To share it. That's why I'm doing it. I give it away. Moving on. Knowledge is like money to me. I got a truckload of it. Okay, come and get it. Also, what? It places you in a position to what? Learn the deeper aspects of the teachings of right thinking philosophy. And then you will develop what? Your spiritual qualities as what? Your spiritual preceptor, aka sage or teacher. You should look to God, who is the supreme teacher, the supreme preceptor of all preceptors. And in the advanced person who is close to God, as we talked about earlier, your teacher, you have to respect the fact that he know or she know what they're doing, respect and follow them, and use the instruction, follow the instruction, and see what happens. Right, thinkers? That's the lesson. Oh, I'll be back with some more. But right now, in closing, may all you right thinkers live to be 100 and me 100 minus a day. So I never know the right thinkers like you have passed away. I'll be back. Excuse me. Lose my voice. Uh-oh.